Morning, morning, morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the two Laura's in the car.
Two Laura's in the back, mate. Like, where are they going? We don't know.
We got Dan in the front, and he's been telling me about his gardening amongst other things.
Mate.
So Dan, nice to have you here today.
Thank you very much, bro. Like,
that's good.
It's been a pleasure.
That's good. So tell us about the gardening. How did you get into there? What have you learned that you wish you knew when you started?
I literally learned more than I thought I would when I started. Like, I learned how to drive a digger in that. Like, I learned how to like prune roses and like what makes them grow and like give massive flowers. And I learned how to design gardens. Like, and I didn't even want to get into that, but it's just how it happened, innit? Like, and it was a good time. Every day was like a new day. And I never did that thing before, and I did it. Yeah, and I was out in the open. Like, gardening industry was one of the main ones that flourished during COVID, because people had loads of money and they were like, my God, I want to make it a little den for myself.
Furlough money.
Yeah, exactly.
So starting with the roses.
Yeah.
What makes roses grow off? Obviously the sun and all that, but you spoke about pruning them to make them. Explain us.
Mate, if you want to grow a good rose, like, as soon as the flowers go, you want to snip that shit, like, right at the nodes. Like, you want to snip that because they will grow even bigger flowers and, like, flourish even more than. Roses are actually a weed. Like, they grow anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
So wait a minute. It's a weed. You said snip it as soon as the flower grows.
As soon as the flowers start going brown and, like, falling off, you don't want to get to the rose hip. You want to snip that off at the node. And there's going to be like 2 or 3 more roses going through.
When you said node, what's the node?
It's like where the main flower stem grows out of.
Okay. So
like you
cut off the head kind of thing.
Yeah, you have the woody bit with the spikes, and then you have like the bit with the leaves and the flowers. Like, you got to cut it at the head, but you got to go to the node and cut it at the bottom. And you get some lovely flowers next time.
So that being said, are the roses seasonal plants? You said they're weeds.
I don't think they're seasonal, mate. Like, I've seen some roses like in autumn have like lovely flowers, mate. Like, yeah, it depends on the rose, innit? And there's so many different kinds of rose in England.
I thought there's just red, white.
Well,
you actually get black roses.
Nah, you don't get black roses, nah.
Okay, so that's just the movies then.
Yeah, it's just if you introduce like some ink and shit like that, like.
So you get white roses.
You get white roses, you get red ones, you get pink ones, you get kind of like tea-coloured ones as well. They're really nice because they're like a bit yellow and then amber and like orange and like red in the tips. Like, they're really beautiful in the summer.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, bruv.
So, what else other gardening tips have you got to share?
I would say, like, DIY is the way to go, mate. Like, don't be afraid to get stuck in. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, if you've got a vision, get it down on paper and just go for it, bruv. Like,
with your gardening, obviously you've got seasons. You've got winter, summer, spring, autumn.
Yeah.
How did you manage during all those periods of time?
Oh, man, I'm not gonna lie. Autumn and winter are horrible. Like, in terms of gardening, especially in England, it's just frosty and wet and cold. Like, you're trying to dig some ground and it's just not having it, and you're like, what am I even doing here? Do you know what I mean? But like, you got to look forward to the summer and the spring, because that's when the flowers come out and like the fruition of your work like comes out.
So why would you need to be digging in the winter?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Planning is the way forward, isn't it? Like, if you want a sick garden in spring, you better start digging in like autumn, winter time.
Is it?
Yeah, like you got to plan the plants, like you got to plant the bulbs, and come springtime, it's going to be paying, but it's not going to be like, you got to wait like 4 or 5 years for that, mate. Like, you got to cherish your garden and make it flourish. And
you spoke about you do landscape gardening.
Yeah.
What motivates you when it comes to the design and gardening in general?
I feel like what motivates me the most is the vision of like the customer, because at the end of the day, like, you're coming to their den, like, this is where they reside, like, this is their personal space, and if they have like a vision that they're like properly like resonating with you in that, you really will you want to like create a really nice design and like sweet them out in it, because then like come springtime, like I was saying, you're both enjoying it. Like, they're like, oh, you did a sick job, like, come and do more jobs.
Is it possible to design a landscape garden that looks after itself, that's not concrete but plants?
Yeah, for sure. There's loads of plants, like that's a common misconception because like English gardens, they're either really sick or it's just like concrete and trees and like a bit of ivy and shit. Like it's really easy to design a garden that looks after itself, and like seasonal gardens are about like everywhere, mate. You just have to like find the right amount of flowers and stuff, like which play against each other. Like some flowers take nitrates from soil and some flowers don't, so like, and they all flower in the same kind of sequence. So if you're smart about it, you can like plan the sequence and enjoy your garden all year round.
Okay. So what have you learnt about gardening that you wish you knew when you started?
I always wanted to drive a digger, mate. As shallow as it sounds, like it was so, because like we did this one garden and they were like, just flatten the whole thing. Like we'll bring a digger in, just flatten it. Like we want a completely different hill. We want flowers around there and shit. And it was like a week of driving a digger. And then at the end of it, it was like the little nitty gritty bits. It was like all the tasty little, oh, I'll do a bulb here and all that. And I came back in the spring and I was just like, we did such a good job, mate. Like it was your idea and I did it, and like we're here now. Do you know what I mean?
So a lot of job satisfaction in that industry.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Like every single day was different.
What would you say to your 16-year-old self?
Oh, mate, do more gardening.
And what would be your recommendations to anybody who wants to get into the gardening industry? What do they need to know?
Not be afraid of plants. Like a lot of people like think like, oh, I don't know this plant, I don't know that shit. Like just Google it. Like you look at a plant that you can literally take a photo of it, and there's an app that tells you what kind of plant it is and how to look after it. And it's so easy to just pick that up and like incorporate it into your like design skills and shit like that.
Have you ever done any tropical gardens? I know it's not really a tropical climate here.
Yeah, no, England is not tropical at all. But I've looked
common-
after like bananas and palms and stuff like that. Like
In greenhouses?
no, not in greenhouses. Like in a Oxford garden, like there's bananas and figs and like palms and stuff like that, and like
Really?
fern trees.
In this country?
Yeah. You just have to know how to like put it away for winter. Like you just wrap it up with some felt and like some loads of straw, and like make sure they're warm.
Well,
and
from the root down?
yeah, from the root down. Sometimes I like even dig around like the roots and that, because you got to make sure it's all warm, and then like it just looks so great in spring. Like that's what I'm saying. It's forward planning. Do you know what I mean? Like
because even in Battersea Park here, they put those kind of jackets around the tree.
exactly. Just a bit of like string and some felt, like bit of straw, keeping it warm and that.
Okay, what does the future hold for you?
Who the fuck knows, bruv? Like, design, I guess. Like, hopefully, because I fucking love design, mate. I love creating things out of my mind and seeing them just flourish in the wild. Like,
You sound like you really love the creative element.
definitely.
Were your parents creative? Are they creative?
Yeah, my mum's an artist. Like, she paints a lot of stuff, like watercolors and shit like that. Like, I really enjoy like the energy she brings, because like she's always just like, yeah, this is like, she's always bigging me up and I'm bigging her up and all that stuff. Like, and she paints a lot of floral stuff. So it like, I used to send her like really nice images, like macro images of flowers and stuff like that, and she really enjoyed that. Like, she's got a whole book of like watercolors. Yeah, man.
Okay, that's great. It's been an interesting interview.
Yeah, mate. It has been very interesting.
And the lures are quiet.
The Lauras,
They're
they're just in the back, bro.
I was
like,
thinking I should bring them in the interview and see what they have to say.
Yeah.
How was the rave, ladies? You've been very quiet.
Very interesting, very tiring.
Very tiring.
Yeah.
Okay, and your sisters?
Nah, Laura's my girlfriend and Laura's her friend.
Oh, okay. Well, nice to meet your girlfriend and friends.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
stuff.
Nice to meet you.
What do you ladies do?
I work in fashion, and I'm working in a family company.
Okay, so we've got creative and business.
Yeah.
And we've got someone who can scan all the rooms. we've got like a group.
Used
here,
to be a gardener, like.
a gardener and stuff.
Exactly, bro.
Where can people find you, Dan, if they want to consult you about having a garden done?
I'm not really on the social media at the moment. Like I'm the Dan guy on Instagram, but like you gotta request that shit and I might follow you back. Like I'm not really.
What's your handle?
The Dan guy.
Just the Dan guy.
Yeah, because I'm Dan Cordis. Like.
Okay, no problem. Well, thanks a lot for that. We wish you well. We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channel. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.